Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai Bahashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the elder apostles, the bishops, and the elders of GMS who rule well. Peace and salutations to the elect. My name is Aina. The title of the video is China Said Hold My Beer, right? M.O.T.B. And basically, China has come out with a brain chip, a BCI that is ready and approved, to go inside of people. Okay. And we know that Job 9:24 says the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. All right. So the wicked is forwarding his agenda on planet Earth. And his agenda is the New World Order, right? Which is a digital technocracy where people will be, tracked and traced through the mark, the charagma, the M.O.T.B, right? Which goes into your right hand and your forehead, which we'll get in Revelation 13 and 16. But the face of the BCI part, was on Elon Musk, as we know, but China has a BCI too now that's already been approved. But even when I was watching this video, I was like, it's because the one that Elon Musk is working on does way more, right? That's why I said. So that's the case. The one that China got, but you can see it doesn't do as much as the one that Elon Musk BCI does, but it's ready and it was easy, and that's why I said the title of the video was China Said Hold My Beer, because they made this BCI, to actually operate and control a mechanical device so people can use it and write. But how easier would it be to have the charagma in your right hand, the one that's used for selling and buying, right? How easy would that be? If they're able to put something in your brain, they got to cut off your skull, right, and implant it and make it send, what is it? Just signals to your brain so you can move your arm with a robot hand. That takes a lot of work. So how much easier would it be for the micro C hip, right? That's going to go into your hand. So let me just get Revelations 13 and 16. All right. This is Revelations 13:11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth. This is talking about, right, America, right, Babylon the Great. It says, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. This represents your two different parties, right? You have the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. But it says, and he spake as a dragon, going into the draconian measures, right? The different laws and decrees established to set up his new world order, basically, right? Coming down with great wrath and, to set up his new world order, giving out these different laws. For example, taking away, individuals' job status, as in, some jobs were like, I guess, a higher status, and it meant you can do, such and such, but he revoked a lot of those things. When I say he, I mean Nero 47, the current president. All right, he revoked, these different things. He revoked the DEI. He revoked, a manner of, different things, right? And it's all to set up this system, all right? And what people are seeing is that it's not the two different parties. The two different parties is not helping you, because people are seeing now that the least of the flock, which are the small hatters over in the land of Israel, they own and control America. But it goes back to the international bankers, right? It goes back to Job 9:24 that I quoted earlier. The wicked, is in control of the world right now. And those are the self-proclaimed white men, right? The Edomites. The scriptures call them the Edomites, the wicked, right? And they run and control the world. And what they're trying to do is chip everyone in the world with this new system, right? And that's why the different, nations around the world are pushing forward with this BCI, technology. It says in verse 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him. The first beast before him was Roman Empire, right? The Roman Empire fell, and during the fall of the Roman Empire, we took over. Is what they call the Dark Ages, because they don't want you to know about it. But it was the Byzantine Empire, right? And actually, Candace Owens went over there to Russia and recently got some of those Russian icons with the dark images of our people, right? So yeah, we did rule during the Byzantine Empire at the fall of at the after the fall of Rome, all right. But around 1400, you have something called the Renaissance, right? When Cristobal Colon said he discovered America, just like Jared Kushner said he discovered that island over there, right? And basically, these devils took power, again, and now they're loose, for a little season, you know. Let me grab a little bit of that. Revelation 20, real quick, in verse 3, it says, I'll get it from 1. It says, and I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit, right, in a great chain in his hand. Now, the bottomless pit represents Europe, that area over there where the old world is at, right? Because mind you, again, during the 1400s, what did Cristobal Colon say he did? He discovered the Americas, right, which was a land not dwelt in by anyone but our people, right? The northern tribes of the 12 tribes of Israel. You had 10 tribes that came over here and dwelt in this land before they said they discovered it. So over there in the bottomless pit, which is Europe, is bottomless because there's no resources there. If you think I'm lying, Google it. Yeah, they don't have resources over there. All right, and so verse 1, and I saw an angel come down from heaven having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan. Devil means deceiver, Satan's adversary. They are adversary to Yahweh Bashim Awashai. That's why you get Job 9 and 24 real quick. Job 9:24 says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not where who is he? Now going back to that Candace Owens thing, the judges thereof are who? The Israelites, right? The true leaders, which you'll see in the near future, that the Israelites are the true rulers of the world. And also their power, their God, right? And of course the Son of God, which are two dark-skinned individuals. And they lied and hid this information from the world because the world was given into their hand. And what they did was rewrite history. All right, but now all this information is coming out now because he's at his end. All right. Job 9:24 says, the earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covered the faces of the judges thereof, if not wearing wisdom. All right. So, Slacky, sorry, somebody called me. So then it says, if not, where and who is he? So we know who covered the faces of the judges. We know who found all these different, artifacts and statues and things, and they eventually broke their noses off to hide the facial features of who they were. It's the people currently in charge. All right. Revelations 20:1, and I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, bound him 1,000 years. So, 1,000-year period, basically, what is it, like 96 AD? Because you had you had the Roman Empire over there, and then second. Oh, Saki, hold on. We bound him 1,000 years. So yeah, it was around 96 AD, roughly to about to 1400, right? So it says, and he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, right? And during that time, like I said, you had the Byzantine Empire, which was around 96 AD to the 1400s. It says, and cast him into the bottomless pit and shut him up and set a seal upon him that he should deceive the nations no more till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loose a little season. So again, the Roman Empire fell, but then the Byzantine Empire took place, and then during the 1400s, the Renaissance, which means rebirth, The Roman Empire came back, but they're back now as America. Okay. So Revelations 13 and 12, and he exercises all the power of the first beast before him and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast whose deadly wound was healed. Again, the Roman Empire was wounded, right? But the wound was healed, right? And he doeth great wonders so that he make a fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men. Yeah, America dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right? They dropped it on Japan. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, right? Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword in their lip. Yeah, so just years and years of these people been established and setting themselves up, international bankers, and throwing out different plans and all of that. They have the power, right, to control these people, and the nations. So they're making an image to the beast, which is setting up this system, right? That they're setting up now. It says, and he had power to give life into the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as will not worship the image of the beast should be killed. All right, so ultimately you'll be exiled out of society and ultimately just die because you will need the mark to buy or sell. And if you can't buy or sell, and own nothing or anything like that, you eventually you starve. All right. And in this case, he's going to come down with great wrath because he had but a short time. He's going to start, taking people out. The Georgia Guidestones that they destroyed had different, things on it they wanted, and one of that was a certain amount of people on planet Earth. And right now, the number far exceeds the number that was on those stones. Basically, it's 8 billion people on Earth. For them, that's too many. Verse 16 says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in the right hand on their foreheads. We have the one in the right hand, and you have the one in the foreheads. We're seeing the BCI, right, which is a digital device that goes into your forehead, and also you have the RFID, right, which goes into your right hand, which we see a lot too. We kind of don't want to talk about it because but it's all the M.O.T.B, which is the mark of the beast. It says, and that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark or the name of the beast, the name of his name. His wisdom let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for his number of the man is number 600 beast going 6, which goes into 666. All right. Bear with me real quick. All right. Yeah, so this 666 follows these devils around. They're always throwing it up. Something that I find funny is because a lot of these different events that happen around the world, even in some instance, it could be like just, for example, a mass shooting happens and they get the first report. The first report would be 6. Just to throw it out there. They just say, oh, 6 people got hurt. And then next thing it actually was 16. The number keeps going up, but they always throw that 6 out there. Then about the entertainment individual, the music people, the sports people, they always throw up the eye over the 6 and all of that, So that is all tied to this devil, and that's because they work on the left hand side, with these demons and things like that. The Most High got them doing this type of stuff. But anyway, so this is the M.O.T.B, right? That if you do take, you will be, destroyed. You get this doom for worshippers of the beast. This is Revelations 14 and 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast in his image and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb. Why? Because Yahweh Shai pulls up right at the end when nuclear missiles are being shot, right, to give the elect that salvation, right, to be saved from the nuclear missiles. But if you took the chip, you're going to be left here, right, to go ahead and get tormented by that fire and that brimstone, which is the nuclear missiles, right, which take place in World War III, which they are in right now. Revelations 14:11, it says, "And the smoke of their torment ascended up forever and ever, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast in his image, and whosoever received the mark of his name," right? Which ultimately just goes into receiving the M.O.T.B. All right. It says, and it won't be forever, it'll be for a period of time, you know. It says, because, eventually desert creatures and animals will be in America. All right, pursuant to, Revelations 13, Isaiah 13, Isaiah 14. It says, here's the patience of the saints. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahweh Shai. Right. It says, "And I heard a voice from heaven saying unto me, Right, blessed are the dead which die in the Lord, and from henceforth, yes, save the spirit, that they may rest from their labors and their works do follow them." Right. And this is a comfort for us, knowing that even through death, Satan can't stop, this. All right. Because our works follow us. We're working right now to receive a reward, from Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right. So let me see. Okay. So China said, "Hold my beer." So this is what I typed in Google, regarding the M.O.T.B. Like I said, when I first got it, I said, how much easier would it be for them to just bring the one that go into your right hand if they did the one that go into your brain already, and they did it faster than Elon Musk. All right. But anyway, it says, I said, China said, "Hold my beer." It says, "Are you referring to China's massive economic milestones, its rapid military expansion, or a specific recent viral moment?" China constantly outpaces others in technology, manufacturing, and infrastructure, often promoting the classic "hold my beer" meme. You know, um, so yeah, it's interesting. But anyway, we got two videos here. Now this is the one that they did simple. I'm gonna just play like 5 minutes of it. Then we have this one over here that they're working on a different one, kind of like Elon Musk. Here you go. And this is just showing you that the scriptures are faithful and true, right? The things, the things is happening and it's moving fast. All right, the chip is here. All right, it's only a matter of time now. Second Ezra chapter 15, verse 1, "Behold, speak down the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahweh Bashmawashai, and cause them to be written in paper, where they are faithful and true." All right, and that's where we're at, right?
His name is Dong Hui. He is 39 years old. 6 years ago, a car accident left him paralyzed from the neck down. He couldn't move his fingers. He couldn't write. Something as ordinary as holding a pen had become completely impossible, and every specialist he'd seen told him the same thing in different words: this is permanent. Then surgeons placed a coin-sized chip between his skull and his brain. 11 months later, sitting in the courtyard of his home in China's Henan province, Dong Hui picked up a pen. Slowly, carefully, deliberately, he wrote his name. Then he wrote, "Thank you." Then he wrote the date. He later told journalists he was so overwhelmed that he missed a stroke in his own name. "I couldn't believe I was able to write again. I was so excited." That chip, the one that gave Dong Hui back his hands, just became the first invasive brain-computer interface in history to receive full commercial approval anywhere on Earth. Not a trial permit, not a research exemption, a product license. Available to real patients, covered by China's national health insurance. In production right now, scaling to meet demand. And here's the part that changes the entire story. While that was happening, Elon Musk's Neuralink, the most famous, most funded, most publicized brain chip project in the world, still has 21 people in an experimental trial. No commercial approval, no product license, no insurance coverage, anywhere. The race that everyone assumed Elon Musk would win, someone just crossed the finish line. And it wasn't him. To understand what just happened, you need to understand how this competition looked from the outside for the past several years. Neuralink was the story. Full stop. Elon Musk announced it, hyped it, described a future where paralyzed people would walk again, where blind people would see again, where the entire interface between human consciousness and computing would be reinvented. He is the most followed person on the planet. Every announcement got global coverage. Every trial update was front-page news. The assumption baked into almost every article written about brain-computer interfaces was simple. Neuralink leads, everyone else follows. Meanwhile, in Shanghai, a startup called Neurical Technology was quietly doing something different. No celebrity CEO. No viral announcements. No promises about controlling computers with your thoughts or uploading your memories. Just a research team, a partnership with Tsinghua University, one of China's most prestigious technical institutions, and a singular focus on getting one specific device approved for one specific group of patients. The device was called NEO. It's roughly the size of a coin. It takes about 90 minutes to implant. It sits between the skull and the outer protective membrane of the brain, called the dura mater, with 8 sensors pressing gently against that membrane, without ever penetrating the brain tissue itself. Wireless signals travel from the implant to an external processor, which translates the brain's electrical activity into commands for a robotic glove, allowing patients with severe hand paralysis to perform basic grasping movements they hadn't been able to do in years. In March 2026, China's National Medical Products Administration gave it full commercial clearance. 36 clinical trials, 32 of them completed in a compressed window in 2025 alone. And then, approved. Not for trials, for hospitals, for patients, for production. The first invasive brain implant ever cleared for sale anywhere in the world. Here's the counterintuitive part of this story. NEO is not the most powerful brain chip ever built. It almost certainly isn't. Neuralink's N1 chip penetrates the brain's outer cortex directly, accessing neural signals closer to their source and potentially enabling finer, more precise control. Neuralink's long-term ambitions, restoring sight, enabling full-body movement, eventually merging human consciousness with computing, are technically more audacious than anything NEO currently does. So how did the less aggressive device win the regulatory?
That's when I was like, yeah, you know, what Elon Musk is doing is, far more advanced. But in the day, we don't care. All right. What we gotta say about that? We don't care. All the scriptures talk about is a micro C-hip, a digital device that's going in your right hand and your forehead. All right, these devils ain't got that much time anyway. We're trying to hasten this thing. China already got one, that goes in the brain. Elon Musk is, kicking the can down the road. They already have the actual M.O.T.B that goes in your right hand, too. They just haven't made it mandatory yet. All right, because that's going to be the easiest thing. If you think about it, the brain, when really surgery, and all of that, it's supposed to help you walk and do all these things and all of that. They really want to know your thoughts and all of that. The Most High don't care about that, in my opinion, my humble opinion, and even the elder apostle Tahar says when they make the chip mandatory, things are going to start moving fast. The only thing they got enough time to do all these different surgeries, line people up and all of that. It ain't like they building better hospitals, to with robots and AIs to better do the surgery. No, they building data centers, you know, I guess to store all information about the people that's going to take the chip, and all of that. So it's only a matter of time, for they come out with the right hand chip, which, like I said before, they already got it. It's only a matter of time for they make it mandatory, right? Because if they able to do all of this, right, with your brain and make you walk and all of that, come on now, they can easily use a syringe and put it inside your skin.
Race. Because less aggressive and commercially viable are not opposites. They're often the same thing. NEO's design is epidural. It sits on top of the brain's protective membrane, rather than inside the brain tissue itself. A researcher at the University of Technology, Sydney, speaking to MIT Technology Review, explained why that distinction matters enormously in a regulatory context. An epidural approach carries significantly lower risk of bleeding and lower risk of signal loss over time than electrodes that penetrate the cortex. When a regulator is evaluating a device for broad commercial use, not just in a handful of
And what I believe they just said is that, let me bring it back. What they said that thing can lose its power. What Elon Musk is trying to do, mind you, this is technology. You got a lot of things that decay and get old. I don't know one thing, I can't think of one thing that you don't have to eventually replace. It get dirty, it get used too much, something happens to it. It's tech, that's what all technology. Even the space station, the International Space Station, where all of them sharing it, you're talking about the thing is leaking or something, so the shit gets old. So the one China got, they said, look, it don't take that much. You ain't got to do all the extra. You just put it on there, and it looked real simple, like you take it back out if they get old or something.
protective membrane, rather than inside the brain.
And two, I think about that too when I think about the children and then them putting a little device into their hand and they're growing up, and that device is there and moving around and all of that. The whole plan is really retarded. Right? These devils is not smart at all, but the Most High is going to let them do what they do, and he's going to come and destroy them.
Tissue itself. A researcher at the University of Technology, Sydney, speaking to MIT Technology Review, explained why that distinction matters enormously in a regulatory context. An epidural approach carries significantly lower risk of bleeding and lower risk of signal loss over time than electrodes that penetrate the cortex. When a regulator is evaluating a device for broad commercial use, not just in a handful of carefully selected trial participants, but in real hospitals with real patients who have varying health conditions, risk profile is everything. Neo didn't win because it outperformed Neuralink. It won because it was designed to be approvable, not just impressive.
Yeah, they made something that works. People can look at it and say, "Oh, that works." That guy's okay. Nothing. This thing that Nero got going on. Elon Musk, is doing a lot, and it's taking a little minute, to get approved. So here's the other one. China's working on, and this one is more like Neuralink.
This is Mr. Zhang. He asked us not to film his face for privacy reasons. A little over 8 years ago, an accident left him paralyzed from the neck down. But here, he's controlling his wheelchair with his mind.
我们现在也在下面练轮椅，可以通过自主的想法就可以在轮椅上就。
So you can watch the video. I might tell them more, but ultimately, what you need to know is that these devils could care less about you controlling anything with your mind or anything like that. That's just to make you want it, right? And in a lot of cases, a lot of things that has happened to the people is because of these devils did it. People come to America and complain about the food. It's not fulfilling. It makes them sick. Does this and the third. There's chemtrails spraying in the sky all the time, right? The food is poison. The water is poison. Then they come out here with these different jabby jabs, and you take them, and now half your body is numb and all this extra, and it's not medical information. Of course, I'm not a fucking doctor, but they do these things on purpose, and they try to give you a solution. The ultimate goal for these devils is total control, where they can track, monitor, and trace you, right? Because they just think it's gonna help them, right? It's not.
可以练好之后就可以自由的行动，想去哪儿就去哪儿。
He's even got a few tricks up his sleeve. Last year, Mr. Zhang.
So, if you look at the world right now and how everything is coming out, that is because of Israel. Take World War I, World War II, what to be what we're in now, World War III. The 7 wars, including Venezuela and now Cuba and things like that. A lot of these are because of the international banking family that goes back to small hatters, right? Take 9/11. They just did some things on 9/11 showing you that the dancing Israelis on the roof, they already knew what was happening, right? USS Liberty, these different, MK Ultra and things like that, with the Mossad agents, running rampant in America. It's all because of Israel. If you get rid of Israel, a lot of the problems that has happened in the world wouldn't be there, right? The scriptures say he that took peace from earth. Let me grab that real quick. I'm gonna end it out. Bear with me. This is Revelation 6. All right. The red horse. Revelation 6 and 3. Slap you. It says, when he had opened the second seal, I heard the sound, the second beast say, "Come and see." And there went out another horse that was red, right? These Edomites. And power was given to him that sat down to take peace from the earth. Who the hell is doing that? Who's taking peace from the earth? Yeah, who's committing the genocides, right? Trying to take everyone's land and mad about something that you got going on, when they control the whole world. The Edomites, right? Starting with these international banking families, the Amalekites, which are the 1948ers, over in the land of Israel pretending to be us, cosplaying as the Israelites. And the whole world knows that they are not the people. They are not the true Israelites. Right? When the true Israelites take power, there will be peace on earth. We went to Isaiah chapter 2. Revelation 6 and 4 says, and there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Yeah, Esau, Edom, blessed with the sword. Esau's blessing, when Jacob and Esau were born, Esau was blessed with the sword. And as you can see, these devils are the first to blow up the atomic bombs. All right. So, Lord willing, we edify from this lesson, Shalom, to the hopeful elect, which consists of men, women, and children, Shalom.